In lesson 4 I'm gonna show you how you can play a 12-bar blues with an alternate bass in the key of C, and I'll give you a few theoretical and practical tips so you'll understand why it works. Therefore I'm using a fretboard from an electric bass. As you know, an electric bass has frets. In this sketch these frets were marked with vertical lines. The tuning of an electric bass is the same as the tuning of an upright bass: E, A, D and G. The distance from one fret to another is exactly a half tone or a half step. So with the help from this sketch and the C major scale, I'm gonna show you important basics that you are able to play rockabilly in all keys, and you will also learn important musical terms that will ease your playing a lot. So let's start with the C major scale. The root note, the C, is on the A string 3rd fret. The second note from the C major scale, the D, is on the 5th fret and on the open D string, of course. The E is on the D string 2nd fret. The F on the 3rd fret. You see it's only a half step from E to F. The G is on the 5th fret and of course on the open G string. The A is on the 2nd fret G string, the B on the 4th fret and the next C on the 5th fret. Of course there are lower notes of the C major scale, here on the E and A string. On this sketch you can see a few rules. The distance or the interval between the root note C to the next C is called octave. You can find the octave in any key easily with this tip: 2 strings higher and 2 frets higher. This works with every note. The 4th note or the 4th is on the next string, same fret. In the key of C it's the F. And if you combine rule number 1 and rule number 2, you know where the lower F is: 2 frets back and 2 strings back. The last important interval for this lesson is the 5th, the G. Next string, 2 frets higher. And of course the low G is on the E string 3rd fret. You need this for the root 5 bass. Let me say a few things about chords and chord progression. Literally a chord has 3 notes, so a triad is the smallest chord. For now you need to know that in our 12-bar blues progression we need the 1 chord, the 4 chord and the 5 chord. C is the 1 chord, F is the 4 chord and G is the 5 chord. The root note from the C chord is a C, the root note from the F chord is an F, and the root note from the G chord is the G. In a 12-bar blues we play 4 bars the 1 chord, 2 bars the 4th chord, 2 bars the 1 chord, 1 bar the 5 chord, 1 bar the 4th chord and 2 bars the 1 chord. In C it's 4 bars C, 2 bars F, 2 bars C, 1 bar G, 1 bar F, 2 bars C. To make it easier to grab the notes right, put the tape on the 3rd and on the 5th fret. Find the G and the A with your tuner and put the tape there. Put your pointer finger on the A string, fret 3. Here you have the root note C. On the G string, 5th fret, you have the higher C. Follow rule number 1 and you can find the octave. The 4th, the F, is on the next string, same fret. And when you follow rule number 1, you can find the lower F, E string, 1st fret. Try to alternate between the F and the C. You can find the G, the 5th on the next string, 2 frets higher. This is not the correct fingering, but you can see it better. The lower G is on the E string, 3rd fret. Try to alternate between the C and the G. The F and the C. The G and the D. It's a root 5 bass. Of course you can play the G open. You can also alternate between the open G and the open D string, but be careful with the sounding note. Sometimes it's better to mute the strings with your left hand. So let's play a 12-bar blues with a triple slap in C. So that's enough for this lesson. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Bye bye.